Good evening, it's 11 p.m. on the hour. You're now with me, Douglas Elliott, for TVS Nightline. The headlines. Sultan Ibrahim of Johor ascends the federal throne as the 17th Yang di-Pertuan Agong of Malaysia. Sultan NAZRIN of Perak sets history as deputy king for the third consecutive time. And Pakistan former Prime Minister Imran Khan and wife sentenced to jail for 14 years. Malaysia on Wednesday welcomed a new king, following the swearing-in of His Majesty Sultan Ibrahim of Johor as the 17th Yang di-Pertuan Agong in a pomp and ceremony steeped in tradition at Istana Negara. His Majesty Sultan Ibrahim, King of Malaysia, pledged to be an active monarch and to safeguard the sanctity of Islam, peace and the well-being of all Malaysians. The ceremony also marked the beginning of Sultan Ibrahim's 5-year reign as the pillar of the nation's sovereignty under Malaysia's unique rotating monarchy system.
Kami, Sultan Ibrahim Ibn Almarhum Sultan Iskandar, Yang di-Pertuan Agong bagi Malaysia, bersumpah dengan melafazkan Wallahi, Wabillahi, Watallahi. Maka dengan lafaz ini, berikrarlah kami dengan sesungguh dan dengan sebenarnya mengaku akan taat setia pada menjalankan dengan adilnya pemerintahan bagi Malaysia dengan mengikut sebagaimana undang-undang dan perlembagaan yang telah disah dan dimasyhurkan dan yang akan disah dan dimasyhurkan di masa hadapan ini. Dan bagi kami berikrar mengaku dengan sesungguhnya dan dengan sebenarnya memeliharakan pada setiap masa agama Islam dan berdiri tetap di atas pemerintahan yang adil dan aman di dalam negeri.
At this ceremony, the Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Shah, also took the oath of office as the Deputy King. Their Majesties were elected to the office, respectively, by the Malay rulers at the 263rd Special Meeting of the Conference of Rulers in October of last year. The ceremony at the Bailarong Seri was held during the 264th Special Meeting of the Conference of Rulers, presided over by Sultan Mizan Zainal Abidin of Terengganu. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim then read out the instrument of proclamation, officially signifying Sultan Ibrahim's ascension to the federal throne as the new head of state of Malaysia in accordance with the laws and the federal constitution. Sultan Ibrahim succeeded Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah of Pahang, whose 5-year reign as the 16th Yang di-Pertuan Agong ended yesterday. Sultan Ibrahim is the second Johor ruler to become king. His father, Sultan Iskandar Sultan Ismail, served as the 8th king from 1984 until 1989.
Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Muizzuddin Shah, set history today as he took the oath of office for the third time as the Deputy King of Malaysia, a role he has performed with distinction since 2016. Sultan Nazrin Shah has been fulfilling the responsibilities of Deputy King with utmost diligence, and his reappointment to the role is a testament to his outstanding performance. His Royal Highness had served as the Deputy King in 2016 when Sultan Muhammad V ascended the federal throne as the 15th Yang di-Pertuan Agong, and he retained the role during Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Mustafa Bilal Shah's reign as the 16th Yang di-Pertuan Agong, which began in 2019. During the 263rd special meeting of the Conference of Rulers in October last year, the Sultan of Johor, Sultan Ibrahim Sultan Iskandar, was elected as the 17th Yang di-Pertuan Agong, while Sultan Nazrin was re-elected as the Deputy Yang di-Pertuan Agong for another 5-year term starting today. Born Raja Nazrin Shah on November 27, 1956 in Georgetown, Penang, His Royal Highness became the Crown Prince of Perak on April 15, 1987, and later the 35th Sultan of Perak in 2014. Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim extended the highest congratulations to His Majesty Sultan Ibrahim and Her Majesty Raja Zarid Sofia on the occasion of His Majesty's ascension to the federal throne as the 17th King. Anwar said that the Madani government fully supports His Majesty Sultan Ibrahim's order for the country to continue its good, transparent governance, as well as sustainable economic growth and focus on efforts to improve the people's standard of living.
In a post on his social media, Anwar wished for the well-being of Sultan Ibrahim, Her Majesty Raja Zaid Sofia, Queen of Malaysia, and the entire royal family. The Prime Minister also said that many Malaysians aspire to see the country's continued stability for their prosperity and well-being, as well as continued opportunities and a better future for all. At the same time, Anwar extended his gratitude to the 16th Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Bilal Shah for the far-sighted and visionary views expressed in his role as the constitutional monarch, allowing the country to enjoy the current political, social and economic stability. Similarly, Deputy Prime Ministers Dato Sri Fadillah Yusof and Dato Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi both extended their highest congratulations to His Majesty Sultan Ibrahim on their Facebook post. Minister of Women, Family and Community Development Dato Sri Nancy Shukri also congratulated His Majesty Sultan Ibrahim and expressed her confidence that Malaysia could achieve progress locally and internationally under His Majesty's reign.
In other development, the independence and integrity of the courts must be safeguarded and upheld by all stakeholders at all times to boost investors' confidence globally. Deputy Prime Minister Dato Sri Fadillah Yusof emphasized that the judiciary can rest assured of the continuous support of the government for an independent judiciary, ensuring that all cases in court are heard impartially without any interference from the executive.
Although I've left the legal profession many years ago, and as a law graduate from University of Malaya, like of course my senior, Justice Tun Tengku Maimun, and fellow classmate, Federal Court Judge Dr. Abu Bakar Jais, and many others present here, I religiously appreciate the paramount importance in the administration of justice in our country, and the rule of law for a fair and orderly society, which will ensure that the laws are applied justly and not arbitrarily through an adequate system of appeals in the courts.
He said this at the panel discussion and book launch of the 4th edition of Civil and Criminal Appeals in Malaysia at the Asian International Arbitration Centre on Tuesday. He also congratulated the author of the book, Tan Ki Heng, for his contribution to the legal fraternity and judicial community through the publication.
I believe the legal fraternity and judiciary will appreciate his tireless efforts and dedications in this publication, which will enrich our understanding on the appeal practice and inspire a new generation of legal minds to approach the profession with diligence and integrity for the benefits of society as a whole.
The 1,200-page book comprehensively covers the hierarchy of all courts in civil and criminal appeals. Adding further, he said the book can also inspire a new generation of legal minds to approach their profession with diligence and integrity, benefiting society as a whole.
Now, from April 5th onwards, Royal Brunei Airlines will increase its flight frequency from Brunei to Kuching to 4 flights per week by operating every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, as well as Sunday. The airlines said the additional flights were due to the overwhelming passenger arrivals to Sarawak, both in 2022 and 2023, averaging at above 65%. Now, the announcement was made together with the Ministry of Transport Sarawak to enhance flight frequency from Brunei to Kuching route.
In a joint statement, Royal Brunei Airlines and the Ministry of Transport Sarawak said that the Brunei-Kuching route is currently operated by A320 aircraft, adding that it will consider either upgrading the service by deploying the larger B787 Dreamliner aircraft or mounting additional flights for the upcoming festive season. RBA Chief Executive Officer Captain Sabirin Abdul Hamid stated that the airline had flown over 9,000 passengers to Kuching in the last financial year, which included passengers transiting through Brunei and from its 20 destinations. He further added that the increased frequency to Kuching also facilitates two-way connection for Umrah opportunities. Additionally, the initiative hopes to develop the Korean market's interest in visiting Kuching by promoting new leisure and golf products. Meanwhile, Sarawak Transport Minister Datuk Lee Kim Shin said the joint marketing campaign and roadshow with Sarawak Tourism Board should continue to promote the state via Brunei.
We'll be taking a short commercial break. Coming up right after, former Prime Minister Dato Sri Najib Tun Razak's pardon issue raised at cabinet meeting. And on world news, Pakistan vote body calls security meeting after violence erupted. More coming up right ahead. Welcome back. The issue of pardon concerning former Prime Minister Dato Sri Najib Tun Razak was discussed at the cabinet meeting today. Communications Minister Fahmi Fazil said any decision on the matter can only be issued by the relevant authority and once again reminded all media practitioners to wait for an official statement from the Pardons Board regarding the former Prime Minister's application for a pardon.
Fahmi was responding to claims that Najib's jail sentence for corruption has been reduced to 6 years from 12 years following his application for pardon. The report quoted sources as saying that this was decided by the Pardons Board at its meeting on Monday. The report also claimed that the Pardons Board, headed by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, also decided to reduce the fine of 210 million ringgit imposed on Najib to an unspecified amount. Meanwhile, Home Minister Dato Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail today told media that the Federal Cabinet discussed Najib's pardon application but has no power over the matter. He said the matter was under the jurisdiction of the Pardons Board to decide on his 12-year prison sentence from his conviction for the misappropriation of SRC International Sdn Bhd 42 million ringgit.
For women associated with an advertisement featuring intimate videos of a man known as Hot Daddy or Daddy Ash were fined between 2,500 ringgit to 4,800 ringgit by 3 magistrate courts in Kuala Lumpur early today, with each charged with possessing pornography video materials. All of the accused were sentenced after pleading guilty in front of Magistrate Atika Muhammad alias Muhammad Saim, Nurdena Hanim Abdul Halim and Ili Mariska Khalizan.
The women include unemployed 22-year-old Nonabila Ayuni Hanafi, 26-year-old tourist guide Amira Natasha Muhammad, each fined with 3,000 ringgit. 22-year-old university student Noalia Muhammad Rosli, who was fined with 4,800 ringgit. And 36-year-old marketing executive Farah Adila Hanum Khairuddin, who was fined with 2,500 ringgit. The court ordered all the accused to be imprisoned for 1 to 6 months should they fail to pay the fines. According to the charges, the women were accused of possessing the pornographic videos with the intent to publicly display them at the Vice Gambling and Secret Societies Investigation Division D7 headquarters of the Wangsa Maju District Police Headquarters at 5 p.m. on January 30th. The charges were made under Section 292 Bracket A of the Penal Code, carrying a maximum penalty of 3 years imprisonment, a fine, or both upon conviction.
A former chairman of a cooperative faced 2 charges of corruption and 1 count of money laundering related to projects implemented in 2016 and 2017. The accused, 65 years old Mazlan Hashim, pleaded not guilty in the Sessions Court.
The first charge stated that Mazlan had allegedly asked for a 10% bribe from a 9.7 million ringgit project, which amounted to 970,000 ringgit from the director of Smart SL Technology, Sinian Berhad. The inducement was meant to assist the company obtain a tender from My Angkasa Services, Sinian Berhad, for the design, supply, build, test acceptance and commissioning of a solar farm and greenhouse located in Pendang. Mazlan's second bribe charge was when he allegedly accepted 274,608 ringgit from the director of the same company to fund the construction of a branch of Affin Islamic Bank in 2017. The case is being investigated under Section 16 Bracket A of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC Act 2009 or Act 694, whereupon conviction carries a maximum jail time of 20 years and a penalty of 5 times the total value of the bribe, or 10,000 ringgit depending which amount is higher. Meanwhile, for the money laundering case, Mazlan was accused of channeling funds he earned from his capacity as the chairman of the Kedah Darul Aman Development Cooperative Berhad to the aforementioned branch of Affin Islamic Bank. Since 2017, Mazlan has transferred a total of 265,000 ringgit. For this case, the accused was charged under Section 4 Bracket 1 Bracket B of the Anti-Money Laundering, Anti-Terrorist Financing and Proceeds from Illegal Activities Act 2001, which is punishable by up to 15 years imprisonment and a fine of not less than 5 times the value of the illegal activities proceeds, or 5 million ringgit, whichever is higher. Mazlan's case has garnered much attention since Tun Daim Zainuddin is being probed by MACC due to alleged tax evasion and failing to declare his assets. Daim had previously served as finance minister during Tun Mahathir Mohamad's tenure as prime minister.
In foreign affairs, former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan and wife Bushra Bibi on Wednesday was sentenced to 14 years behind bars after being found guilty of graft while serving as the premier. The verdict, a week before Pakistan's national elections, comes just a day after Khan was sentenced to 10 years in prison for leaking classified state secrets.
It was not immediately clear if Khan's sentences were to run consecutively or concurrently following a trial held inside jail, where he has been detained for much of the time since his arrest in August. But his lawyer Salman Safdar confirmed that he had been sentenced alongside his wife, who had been on remand throughout the trial. Since being ousted in 2022, Khan has been buried by court cases he claims have been triggered to prevent his return to office. The 71-year-old had accused the military, with whom he ruled in partnership for much of his tenure, of orchestrating his ouster in the US-backed conspiracy. When Khan was first arrested in May last year, riots broke out across the country. But his street power was killed by a military crackdown that saw thousands of supporters detained and dozens of senior leaders forced underground. Pakistan will head to the polls next Thursday in a ballot already marred by allegations of rigging, with Khan barred from running.
Following that, Pakistan's Election Commission on Wednesday announced an urgent meeting of security officials after a candidate was shot dead and several others wounded in separate attacks a week before the country heads to the polls. Rehan Zeb Khan, an independent candidate after failing to get a ticket for former Prime Minister Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party, was shot dead in his car after leaving a stump gathering in the former tribal district of Bajar in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province.
Elections in the South Asian nation are often marred by violence, with candidates and rallies targeted by militant groups, as well as over personal vendettas. Authorities said the killing of Rehan Zeb is a targeted killing aimed at creating chaos during the elections. The Election Commission of Pakistan told media that it would meet with government and intelligence officials on Thursday to discuss the violence. Authorities had previously announced that thousands of paramilitary troops would be deployed in the days leading up to the February 8 polls. Also on Wednesday, two candidates, one standing for the National Assembly, the other for a provincial seat, were attacked with grenades in the Balochistan provincial capital of Quetta. Police on Tuesday said at least 4 people were killed by a bomb blast near PTI rally in Quetta. The attack came just hours after party founder Khan was sentenced to 10 years in prison on charges of having leaked classified state documents.
Over in Thailand, Thailand's Progressive Move Forward Party, which won the most seats at the last election on Wednesday, was ordered to stop campaigning to reform the kingdom's tough royal defamation laws, with a top court ruled the policy as unlawful. Move Forward Party upended Thailand's political order by coming first in the general election last May. But its promises to reform the military, business monopolies, and lèse majesté laws were opposed by the kingdom's powerful conservative elite.
The Constitutional Court on Wednesday ruled that the party's campaign pledge to reform Thailand's strict laws protecting King Maha Vajiralongkorn amounted to an attempt to overthrow the monarchy. The unanimous ruling by 9 judges could pave the way for MFP to be dissolved under laws governing political parties. The court said MFP's attempts to amend the royal defamation law showed an intent to separate the monarchy from the Thai nation, which is significantly dangerous to the security of the state. The court ordered MFP and its former leader, Peter Limjaronrat, to immediately stop all attempts to amend or abolish the lèse majesté laws, whether through speaking, writing, or other means. Peter, who stepped down as party leader last year and now acts as a senior advisor, said the ruling was a lost opportunity for Parliament to discuss an important issue.
Despite the international community viewing Afghanistan's Taliban government unfavorably, China is forging ahead with establishing diplomatic and economic ties, a move much welcomed by the Afghanistan. High-level discussions among officials, recent mineral agreements, as well as enhancements to transportation connections between the two nations are consistently embraced by the Taliban government representatives.
Although Beijing downplays the formality of these expanding connections, it is gradually escalating its investment and exposure in Afghanistan, to which many analysts and diplomats suggest that the bilateral relationship could prove mutually beneficial for both countries. Analyst for the Foundation of Strategic Research in Paris, Valerie Niquette, said despite the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan proving to be a challenging landscape, China is consistently daring to explore uncharted territories in efforts to gain advantages. Back in September 2023, China became the first country to appoint a new ambassador to Kabul. On Tuesday, the Taliban government's envoy to Beijing, along with numerous other diplomats, formally presented his credentials to Chinese President Xi Jinping. In response to the meeting, China's Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Wang Wenbing said that when the concerns of all parties are more actively addressed, diplomatic recognition of the Afghan government will naturally follow.
Now, still in China, as its global dominance in electric cars helped it to overtake Japan as the world's biggest vehicle exporter last year. Figures released Wednesday by the Japan Automobile Manufacturers Association showed shipments of cars, trucks and buses rose to 16% to 4.42 million units last year. But China exported almost 500,000 more, 4.19 million vehicles in total, as reported by the China Association of Automobile Manufacturers this month.
China's Customs Bureau put the number even higher at 5.22 million, a huge year-on-year rise of 57%, with 1 in 3 fully electric vehicles. The country had already been shipping more vehicles than Japan on a monthly basis, but Wednesday's data confirmed that it was also number 1 for a whole year. Unlike Chinese firms, Japanese automakers, including Toyota, were confirmed on Tuesday as the world's largest company by unit sales, also make huge volumes of vehicles in other countries. In 2022, vehicle production in Japan, excluding motorcycles, totaled 7.84 million units, but overseas production was almost 17 million. But they have vowed to up their game, with Toyota aiming to sell 1.5 million EVs annually by 2026 and 3.5 million by 2030. Japanese giants such as Toyota and Nissan have been much more cautious than their Chinese counterparts like BYD on electric vehicles, banking instead on hybrid models.
A woman was arrested in Bogota airport after she attempted to smuggle 130 poisonous frogs native to the Choco region of western Colombia, usually found on the grounds of tropical rainforest. The woman was arrested and authorities identified her as a Brazilian citizen who claimed that the frogs were a gift from a local community. According to Bogota's Secretary of Environment, Carolina Urrutia, the woman packaged the colorful harlequin frogs inside foam containers while traveling to Sao Paulo via Panama.
La Secretaría de Ambiente está procediendo a aplicar el sancionatorio a esta ciudadana brasileña y, por otro lado, las 130 ranas confiscadas que venían en unos frascos de rollos fotográficos se encontraban, digamos, en un estado precario de salud y ahora estas ranas están siendo evaluadas para determinar su estado de salud por el Centro de Fauna de la Secretaría de Ambiente y con base en ello determinaremos si permanecen en el Centro de Fauna un tiempo más o son liberadas en su lugar de origen en Junín, Nariño.
Police also confirmed the woman's arrest, who was charged with the crime of wildlife tracking before she was handed over to the prosecutor's office. Police Commander Juan Carlos Arevalo said the frogs hold high value in the international market, and those in possession will be fined $1,000 for each frog. Harlequin frogs are venomous and can measure less than 5 centimeters and live in damp forests along the Pacific coast between Ecuador and Colombia, as well as in other countries in Central and South America. In Colombia, animal trafficking is common due to it being one of the most biodiverse countries in the world, especially amphibians, small mammals, and marine mammals, including sharks.
And that's the update for the hour. I'm Douglas Elliott. Thank you for watching.